Um, Welcome, everybody. How are you doing today? I hope that everybody is doing really well. And today I want to speak a little bit about happiness and how to be happy. Everybody desires happiness. It's a very fundamental, very core desire. I really don't know of anybody that wakes up in the morning and thinks, I really want to be unhappy today. Even though, of course, sometimes when we get really caught up in the past, when we get really caught up in unhappiness, sometimes we might even think that, right, as a way of judgment or punishment, or as a way of just even feeling anything. But most of the time, everybody really, really fundamentally, deeply, truly wants to be happy. So, how to be happy? How to be happy? How to find happiness? You know, the challenge with looking for happiness, or the misunderstanding of looking for happiness, is that we believe, somewhere unconsciously, we believe that happiness is related to circumstances, that is related to objects, that it's related to people, that it's related to experiences or certain inner states, rather than realizing that happiness is the expression of our fundamental true nature. And as that happiness is already here. So when desires arise, when desires for objects, people, circumstances, situations arise, you know, the desires present us with a fundamental misunderstanding. There's always a promise in the desire. That's what I often speak about, that's how past survives, and that's how past sustains itself, because there's that hidden promise, you know, that we don't always see or don't always realize. And that hidden promise, or that misunderstanding, is that it tells us that what we are looking for is going to be found in the future. So that's the very premise of desire. You know, if you have this, then you're going to be happy. Or if you achieve this type of success, then you are going to be happy. Or if you can meet this kind of person, then you are going to be happy. Or if you can, achieve this particular inner state, then you are going to be happy. And so unconsciously we believe in that. And so we follow desires. And when desires get fulfilled, because sometimes they do, right? You desire a certain object, and then finally you can have this object for a moment, right? Or you desire a certain experience, and then finally for a moment you have achieved that desire. So when desires get fulfilled, there is a moment of happiness. But that happiness is not lasting, is not permanent. And why is that? You know, there's this moment of happiness because for a moment there is an absence of desire. For a moment, when you achieve that goal, you know, like you wanted this particular thing and you were saving your money to buy it, and then you have it, and then you got it, and then there's a moment. There is a moment in which there is an absence of desire. And in that moment, that natural, that absence of desire is an openness, right? It's a momentarily openness in which our natural state, which is happiness itself, which is the source of happiness, fulfillment, and love and peace. So our natural state reveals itself for a moment, when we are not chasing another desire. But that moment closes very quickly. And then the next desire arises, right? And these desires are very powerful. They have the power to move us, not only move the mind right now, but to move us from life to life to life, from incarnation to incarnation. So if we are really interested in happiness, and there's nothing to say that sometimes circumstances in life are important to address, of course, right? Sometimes we really need to address the circumstances in our life. And you will know that. You will know the need to address it when you are present. However, if we are looking for lasting, permanent, fundamental happiness, then we can always find it by being here. We can find it by coming back to rest in our natural state. And that kind of happiness, the reason why it's permanent, why it's lasting, is because it's not dependent on anything, right? It's not dependent on the circumstances of your life. It's not dependent on your health or age. It's not dependent on where you are living or what you are doing right now. It's not dependent on anything. Of course, also when past arises and when it affects your nervous system, and your nervous system and brain are affected and there's a lot of reactivity going on, it's also more difficult to just simply be present. And I teach and I speak about and practice with you a certain process of inquiry on how to be here in our programs. And by the way, we have another 3-week program coming up right now, and I want to invite you to participate. However, right now, let's just take a moment to focus on that happiness that is already here. And for this moment, let's sit here quietly together for a moment. You can even close your eyes for a moment. And as you are sitting here, you will notice that there are thoughts and feelings and sensations, emotions present in your experience right now. There's no problem with them being present. But right now, just for a moment, let's see what happens when you don't pay attention to that. So for a moment, don't pay attention to thoughts. Not that they have to disappear. There's nothing wrong with them, but just, here they are. Let's not pay attention. Let's for a moment not pay attention to feeling, sensation, emotion. Let's not pay attention to what arises here. Let's direct your attention inward. And let's see what is present here when you don't pay attention to thought, feeling, sensation, emotion. What is present? This moment of peace, openness, silence, or happiness or joy, this moment is always here. This really is our true nature. And regardless of where you are in life, regardless of what your circumstances are or what you are going through in the moment, you can always come here. So I want to invite you to do this over and over and over and over again until you get used to resting here. Because that's where lasting, permanent, and really available to all happiness is found.